Hey there nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back in the episode of Anarchy Road Season 2. This is our series of Necromunda Ashway's battle reports, and this is our campaign for that series, and this is battle report number 11. This is a settlement raid scenario that's fought between my two friends, Mama Khan as well as Senior Chang. So, for those of you guys who are tuning in for the very first time, what ended up happening is that my Ashway's campaign has expanded with 4 more players. I have 4 more players who want to actually join up in the campaign. A Goliath player, a Escher player, a Corpse Grinder player, and of course a Kroot player. Now you might be thinking, Commander Cheapskate, did you say Kroot? That is correct, because if you look right here, we have a Kroot Farstalker Kinbands that is going to be taking place in our campaign as well. There's another excellent channel here on YouTube named Crimson Oracle, who has created a awesome series of videos, as well as a rule pack in order to play Kroot Farstalker Kinbands in your games of Necromunda. There's all kinds of rules and game mechanics involved, as well as equipment and things. It's really, really awesome. So if you get a chance, check out Crimson Oracle's page. I have the link to the description in the description box below to that channel. They also run the Crimson Oracle podcast as well, with the Dominers podcast. It's an amazing podcast. You should check it out, and it's really awesome. So Crimson Oracle, if you're watching this, this dedicated video is dedicated to you because of the Kroot Kinbands Farstalker rules that we'll be using. So what's ended up happening is my friend Mama Khan is playing the Killjoys of House Escher, and she'll be playing the Defender in this settlement raid. My friend Senior Chang will be playing the Kroot Farstalker Kinbands. This game is called the 15 Fangs, and they'll be throwing it down in the settlement raid. So what we're going to do is we'll play some background music real quick. As the music is playing, we'll show you photos of both gangs as well as the rosters. If you want to see exactly what my friends are bringing for this battle report, go ahead and pause and take a look at your leisure. So that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here.
So the scenario for this one is Settlement Raid. One side's the attacker while the other is Defender. In this situation, my friend Mama Khan is going to be the Defender in the scenario, while my friend Senior Chang is going to be the attacker. And whoever chooses the scenario is the attacker, so because of that, he's the one. Now for the crews, the attacker gets a customized choice of 6 fighters, where the Defender gets randomized a D3 plus 2 fighters, and the rest of their gang is deployed as reinforcements. Now the Defender sits up anywhere on their half of the battlefield while their settlement lies, and the attacker sits up within 6 inches of the opposite table side. Now if you do gang tactics, you get 2 gang tactics cards per player, plus 1 tactic for each 100 points of difference between gang ratings, but we don't use gang tactics in my gang and my friends in my gaming group, so we just ignore that. Now for reinforcements, at the start of the first end phase, the Defender rolls a D3 and receives that many reinforcements, and they're deployed anywhere that is within 1 inch of the edge of a table of the battlefield, but not within 12 inches of an enemy fighter. Now because my friend Mama Khan is a Defender, she does have home turf advantage, and she automatically passes any bottle test that she has to make. And for my friend Senior Chang, he has a secret objective that he needs to accomplish as well. Now both gangs earn 1 victory point for each enemy fighter they take out of action, 2 victory points for each vehicle that is wrecked, and the attacker also has a secret objective, and my friend Senior Chang rolled Bushwhack, which means earns additional victory points for each enemy champion taken out of action, and 2 additional victory points for each enemy leader taken out of action as well. Now for the rewards in this scenario, you get D6 times 10 credits for the winner, and D3 times 5 credits for the loser, and in case of a draw, both gangs receive D3 times 10. For experience, participants earn 1 point of experience and 1 experience point for the winning gang leader if they don't manage to participate, even if they don't. And as for reputation, earn 1 point for fighting each other for the very first time, which both my friends are doing, so they both automatically get 1. And the winner earns +2, and if either gang bottles out, they lose 1 point of reputation. So now that we're done talking about scenario rules, let's talk about deployments and battle plans. So starting off with the Killjoys, they're both atop the turbo fan over there. On the bottom, that is Mab's Helljab. She is a sister who's got a slow knife, last gun mesh armor, as well as a hotshot last pack for her slow knife. And the one below, I believe, is Rosin is her name. She's a little sister who's got 2 last pistols, mesh armor, as well as photon flash grenades. And that pretty much makes the deployment on this side. And at the top of the turbofan, on the very top, that is Angel Yondonis. She is a gang sister specialist. She's got Last Pistol as well as a Nightshade Kim Thrower, Kim Sith as well as Mesh Armor. And then right next to her is Malrika. She's another little sister with Twin Last Pistols, Mesh Armor as well as Photon Flash Grenades. And that makes up her deployment for the tabletop on this scenario. So next to on the side of the table, of course, are the other vehicles that need to be deployed. On the top is Rizzy, the next is Rizzo, and then is Reese. All three are Escher Hellions who operate light transport vehicles with transport beds. They also have nitro burners as well as boarding ramps. And then right in front of them, of course, are three sisters in the little cargo areas. On the very top, that is Piper the Punisher. She is a gang queen. She's got stiletto sword, combo weapon with a bolter as well as needle gun combined. She's got an armor undersuit, Kim Sith, and mesh armor. Also aboard that vehicle with her is Sinith, who is a sister armor with a stiletto knife, last gun, mesh armor, hotshot, last gun, power pack. And on the vehicle on the very bottom there, which is called Reese, we have another character named Lady Loretta. She is a death maiden. She's got a stiletto sword, armor undersuit, Kim Sith, mesh armor, as well as a needle pistol. I forgot to mention her skill is combat virtuoso, while for Piper the Punisher, it's spring up. Now right in front of them, of course, are three Escher cutters, and those three cutters, of course, consist of the gang, the other members of the gang. On the bottom left-hand side, that character's name is Sister Silaria. She is a matriarch who's got shock whip, armor undersuit, mesh armor, and she's got an Escher cutter with a gas trap launcher, as well as twin-linked plasma guns, and she's also got the spring up skill. Right in the middle is another sister named Nova Salala is her name. She's another sister, wild runner who's armed with mesh armor and as well as an Escher cutter. She's got twin-linked grenade launchers with frag and crack grenades, as well as the the stats for a wild hunter runner. And then after next to her is Needles Moronica. She's another wild runner who's got mesh armor, an Escher cutter with gas trap, and twin-linked heavy stubbers. And that pretty much makes a deployment for my friend Mama Khan. Alright, so now it's time for the deployment for the 15 Fangs, my friend Senior Chang and his Kroot Farstalker Warband. First of all, he's got his leader, Gokal the Contractor. He's the guy with the orange cape there. He is a kill broker with mesh armor, a Kroot pistol, Tal pulse rifle, as well as a Kimblane. He's also got the commanding presence skill. Also on board that vehicle, we have Drin of the Blood. He's a Kroot Goldblood, is armed with mesh armor, a Kroot pistol, and a Londaxi Tribalist with the Nerves of Steel skill, as well as Ankryo the Hunter, who's got mesh armor, a Kroot pistol, accelerated bow with fuse and accelerated and glide arrows, and he's also got the fast shot ability as well. And then also they also got two Kroot hounds named Cad the Bane and Wreck of the Hunt. They both have flak armor as well as ripping fangs. And then you have the Pistolier, which is a Kroot tracker who's got mesh armor as well as twin Kroot pistols. He's got the fast shot ability as well. And right next to him is the Archivist, who is a Krootox rider. He's got mesh armor, heavy Kroot repeater, as well as vicious kicks, and they're riding on the vehicle called Choyar the Shipbreaker. He's a scum racer who's got a medium-sized vehicle with extra armor, transport bed, tire claws, as well as boarding ramp. And that makes up deployment for my friend Senior Chang. So that being said, we're going to talk about battle plans. So now that we're done talking about deployments real quick, let's talk about battle plans. So for my friend Mama Khan, her battle plan, as she says, is to pretty much just stick right here to the fan blades over here and try to defend her territory as best as she can and waiting for reinforcements to arrive every round so that way she can win the battle port. As for my friend Senior Chang, he's going to be very aggressive, as he said. He said what he's going to do is a combination of defense and offense. First of all, he's going to take the offense by taking his vehicle and driving it all the way over here to the Tower of Terror. And then from there, his plan is to actually occupy the tower and actually do sniping shots from the tower directly down to the Escher down below. So that way the Escher have to go after him and he can fight defensively because he only has 6 fighters. And that's what pretty much his plan is to do as well. He plans on working on rolling by attrition because he rolled Bushwhack on this one, which means he gets additional victory points for every single fighter takes out of action. So that's what his plan is in order to do that. So we'll see exactly how this works out for their plans on the tabletop. So now that we're done with battle plans, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and both of my friends roll off for initiative to see which of them will be going first. We'll be right back after their activations. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 1 for my friend Senior Chang. He gets to activate first with his Kroot. The first thing he does, of course, is that he activates his driver, Choya the Shipbreaker. That guy does a double action doing full throttle, moving 18 inches away from the deployment zone and zipping across the battlefield. Now he does have to do a slight turn order to make a straightaway, so he doesn't take a handling check, but it's a medium vehicle, so no harm, no foul. Now from there, of course, for the rest of the activations, it's pretty simple. My friend then, Mama Khan, then decided to move a couple of her gang sisters. Those characters are Mab Seljab as well as Malrika. They actually moved from the base over here and directly up to the top over here during that entire time. And then from there, of course, my friend Senior Chang then activated his leader of his gang, with the guy with the orange cloak over there. His name is Choga the Contractor. He's the kill broker. He decided to take a basic action to aim with his Tau pulse rifle and did another shot to open fire with it directly into Angel Yondonis. Does manage to hit her, but doesn't wound her, so she's only pinned, so she's perfectly fine. At the same time, from there, of course, we then go back to the Archivist. The Archivist also moved up double his movement allowance or to catch up the rest of his gang. And that pretty much makes it the turns thus far in turn number 1. Alright, so for the rest of the turn, it's pretty simple. My friend Mama Khan set up, got Angel Yondonis back down on her feet again, so because she does escape pinning. And since everybody's out of range of actually shooting everybody, that pretty much ends turn number 1. So because we go directly to the end phase, and per the rules, my friend Mama Khan gets D3 reinforcements at the end of the turn. So she managed to get 3 reinforcements. First of all, she was able to get Rizzo, the vehicle, so that vehicle is now on the table as well. Same thing with Sineth is her name. She was also deployed over here. Unfortunately for my friend Mama Khan, though, this vehicle was actually under the control of my friend Senior Chang, so he put it right over here all the way to the back corner, so nothing much can happen. But Mama Khan put Sineth over here, so that way she can reinforce the rest of her sisters up here. But probably the most devastating thing she was able to get, though, was this Escher cutter. That is operated by Needles Veronica is her name, and that Escher cutter's got twin-linked heavy stubbers as well. So she put them within 12 inches of the Archivist, that way she can cut loose with that in the next turn. So very, very deadly right there. And that pretty much makes up turn number 1 for this one. So with turn number 1 over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 2, and my friends roll off for initiative to see which of them has priority. So that takes us directly to the top of turn number 2. My friend Senior Chang managed to get the initiative on this one, so the Kroot Farstalker Kinbands will be going first. And for his very first activation, he activates the Archivist. The Archivist takes a turn to basically aim their, takes a turn to open fire with their heavy Kroot blaster, and the reason why that is a repeater rather. And the reason why that's the case is because it is a heavy weapon with unwieldy, so he can't really aim. He has to open fire with it, but he's within the short range modifier and actually hits Needles Veronica. Not only does he manage to hit her, but he also managed to put a serious injury on her as well. So she is currently laying on the ground bleeding out, and that's a bad place for her to be at, because in the next turn, if my friend decides to charge her, he'll be able to do so and finish her out with the coup de grace. Now meanwhile over here, the vehicle Rizzo with my friend Mama Khan activated Rizzo. Rizzo turned into his own movement allowance, head directly towards Sineth. It looks like my friend Mama Khan is planning on actually boarding this vehicle to engage my friend Senior Chang. At the same time, Senior Chang then took his vehicle, the Shipbreaker, and actually moved it twice its movement allowance to go right behind the Tower of Terror, so that way he could dismount and actually board the actual tower and start sniping at his opponents. And that pretty much makes up the turn so far at this point. So with that being said, we'll be back for the rest of the activations for turn number 2. So the rest of turn number 2 was pretty much just really ordinary, actually. My friend Mama Khan spent the rest of her turn moving her fighters directly down this ladder to this little assembly over here. Actually had Sineth also link up with the rest of her sisters right over here at the base of the power fans. And I think what she's going to try to do is actually have the vehicle swoop up around here so that she can pick up her crew and then head directly towards the Tower of Terror. Meanwhile, on the other side over here, Senior Chang has pretty much spent the entire turn just dismounting his guys from the vehicle and having them move up directly to the base of the Tower of Terror, so that way for the next turn they can spend their time climbing it and start fighting from that position as well. And that pretty much makes up the turn activations for turn number 2. So with the turn number 2 activations over with, we go directly to the end phase. We'll be right back after this. So in the end phase, first of all, my friend rolled for recovery for her friend Needles Veronica. She is still seriously injured, so she's still bleeding out. And when it came for reinforcements, Piper the Punisher, as well as the vehicle Reese, actually showed up on the table as well. She got to determine where she wanted to put it, so she put it right next to Needles Veronica, so that way she can patch her up as well. So that pretty much makes it turn number 2. So with turn number 2 over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 3, and both of my friends roll off for initiative to see which of them will be going first. So that takes us to the top of turn number 3 from my friend Senior Chang. He once again managed to get the activation on this one. So the first thing it does, of course, is he then activates the Archivist. He realizes he's now within charge distance, so he moves him up twice, so that way he can try to get a charge in the next turn and try to take out Needles Veronica. Now from there, my friend Mama Khan then activated Piper the Punisher. She took a basic action aimer bolt gun and opened fire directly towards the Archivist. Unfortunately for her, though, she missed her shots. Because that he is perfectly fine and is wearing up to charge in directly into here and take out some action over here. Now from there across the table, we then go directly to my friend Senior Chang for his next activation. He then activates his leader, the kill broker, Goka the Contractor. He does a group activation with both the Pistolier. The Pistolier does a double action to move up directly to the top, doing 2 simple actions to climb a ladder and then go directly toward that balcony. He then alt activates the Bow Hunter. You can kind of see him right there in the bottom there with, what's his name, Kanyo the Bow Hunter, I believe his name is. And they basically start taking action. So what ends up happening is that the Kill Broker Cobra, the Contractor, takes a basic action aim with his Tau Pulse Rifle and opens fire with Rapid Fire 3, manages to hit Rosin over here, manages to hit her and also put a serious injury on her as well. And then from there, Ankrayo, the Bow Hunter, then takes a simple action movement forward to get within range to fire a fused arrow from his accelerated right bow, and he fires directly into Angel Yondonis, causing a serious injury on her as well. So she goes crashing to the ground, she is bleeding out. The two gang sisters, of course, pass their tests, but Melrika, the youngest little sister, does not. She fails her cool test and she breaks and starts running directly for the hills, and that pretty much makes the activations up to this point. So pretty brutal gameplay up to this point. So that being said, we continue on with the rest of turn number 3. So, continuing on with the rest of turn number 3, let's talk about what ended up happening. So, Cyneth and Mab's Helljab, they decided to return fire with their own last guns. I believe it was Mab's Helljab who managed to hit the Bow Hunter, managed to put a wound on him as well, so he is currently pinned. And Cyneth managed to hit the Pistolier, managed to hit him, but failed to wound, so he is currently pinned as well. So that was the action that took place over here. Meanwhile, my friend Senior Chain then decided to take the Shipbreaker and actually have a mag should go back to two movements, two simple actions to move backwards, so that way it could turn. It looks like it wants to give some support over here. And the reason why is because Reese, the vehicle driver of this one, actually ramming action directly into the Archivist. The Archivist did not manage to get out of the way. He got hit with a Strength 7 hit. But unfortunately for my friend Mama Kama, she rolled to wound him. She rolled a 1, so because of that, he is perfectly fine as well. And that pretty much makes up all the activations for turn number 3. So with the activations over with, we go directly to the end phase. We'll be right back after this. Alright, so we're back to the recovery phase for turn number 3 for my friends. And unfortunately for my friend Mama Khan, a lot of her fighters still remain serious injured. So Angel Yondonis, Rosin, same thing with Nino's Veronica, they're still seriously injured, so not much really happens from there. However, there is some good news for my friend Mama Khan. First of all, one of her characters, Malrika, she managed to regain her nerve, so she's back on the table. And when it came for reinforcements, she got 2 of them. First was Sister Silaria, which is the matriarch who's armed with an Escher cutter, armed with twin-linked plasma guns. She failed her reinforcement roll on this one, so Senior Chain put her all the way directly in this back corner. However, the other one, though, was actually a good roll for her, and that was Nova Salala. That lady's armed with a Escher cutter as well with twin grenade launchers. So because it should put her right over here, 12 inches away from the Archivist. And that pretty much makes up the turn number 3 for this one. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 4, and my friends will roll off for initiative to see which of them will go first. So let's talk about the chaos that took place on turn number 4. So my friend, when you're Senior Chang, once again managed to get the initiative on this one. The first thing he does is he activates his leader, Chogra the Contractor. He does pass his cool test, so that way he doesn't worry about targeting priority. So he decides to open fire directly onto Nova Salala, which is the Escher cutter that was armed with a twin grenade launcher. Managed to hit her and also put a serious injury on her, hitting her twice with the Tau Pulse Rifles because she was seriously injured as well. So from there, my friend Mama Khan decided to activate Piper the Punisher. Piper the Punisher decided to charge directly into the Archivist and engage him in a close combat. She did manage to take him out with a out cold results because that he is finished off and he is out of action. Now from there, of course, my friend Senior Chain then activated the Shipbreaker, did a ramming action directly into Piper the Punisher, managed to put her out of action as well with a Strength 7 hit from ramming at her, ramming speed, and managed to put a grievous injury on her as well. So she is currently out of action, down for the count. So therefore, my friend Senior Chang is actually in the lead with the victory points on this one. Now from there, this vehicle over here, which is called, I believe it's called Rizzo, moves back in order to protect these fighters from being rammed from that vehicle as well, which is absolutely kind of insane. Meanwhile, over here, Sister Celeria actually does a double action, moving up directly onto the top of the fan, so that way she can give them range to open fire with their twin-linked plasma guns. And so far down below, if you notice, the Bow Hunter, he actually gets back on his feet and slips behind the pillars, so that way he doesn't get shot at either. And that makes up the activations up to this point. So we'll continue on here in a second with the rest of turn number 4. So for the rest of the turn, it was just a bunch of movement for the most part when it came to the activation. First of all, Drino the Blood, as well as his Kroot Hound, came over directly to that side of the Tower of Terror, while the Pistolier and his Kroot Hound, oh, I'm sorry, let me go and focus that again. There we go. His Kroot Hound moved out directly to the side over there in order to escape being shot at. And meanwhile, down over here, the rest of Mad Help's Jab, as well as Cyneth, as well as Malrika, they get on board the vehicle with, I believe his name is Rizzo is his name, and they actually move out directly towards the Tower of Terror as well. And that pretty much makes up the rest of the activations for turn number 4. So with the activations over with, we go directly to the recovery phase. So that takes us directly to the recovery phase, and this is where the hammer basically fell for my poor friend Mama Khan. So first of all, Angel Yondonis does roll an out of action for a recovery phase, so she goes out cold, so because she'll make a full recovery. so no harm, no foul. Same thing with Rose Sin. She also went out of action with the out cold result, so she'll skip recovery and be able to participate in the next battle part as well, but she will no longer be participating in this battle. And unfortunately over here, Nova Selala actually suffered an enfeebling injury, so she has -1 to her toughness as well. At the same time, this one over here, up here on the top, that was Lady Loretta. No, sorry, not Lady Loretta. I'm sorry. That is Nido's Veronica. She is still seriously injured as well. So because of that, my friend Mama Khan decides to actually call the game at this point. The reason why is because my friend Senior Chang, he's got 9 victory points, while my friend Mama Khan only has 1. So she decides to kind of call at this point and not take any more losses. So that being said, that takes us directly to the end of the game, because this battle port is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Alright, so let's talk about the post-game real quick. First of all, let's talk about the Killjoys. For my friend Mama Khan, she lost 3 of her fighters in this battle port. Piper the Punisher got a grievous injury, so she goes recovery, while Nova Selala got an enfeebling injury, so she goes recovery as well. She loses 1 point to her toughness. And Angel Yondonis and Rose Sin, both those characters also go out of action without cold, but they make full recoveries, so no harm, no foul. For advancements, no members of this gang did advance at this time, and from their territories, from the flats road section, they got 13 credits, and they lost the red light expanse to the 15 Fangs. For their trading posts, they got 13 credits from their territories, 10 credits from the scenario, giving them 23 credits in total, and they place it all directly into the stash. Now, from the reputation, they earn 1 point from their territories, as well as 1 point for fighting against the 15 Fangs for the very first time, which brings the reputation grand total to 3. Their record now is at 0 wins and 1 loss, and the new gang right now is at 2,390 points. Alright, so let's talk about my friend Senior Chain now with his gang, the 15 Fangs. For his injuries, the Archivist, which is the Krutox Rider, was an out cold result, so he made full recovery, no problem at all. Now for advancements, no member of this gang did advance at this time, and from their territories, from their road section, the 5 Ways, as well as Iron Ridge and the Red Light Expanse, they got 5 credits in the 5 Waves, 4 credits from the Iron Ridge, as well as 11 credits from the Red Light Expanse. Now, they did manage to take the Red Light Expanse away from the Killjoys, which allowed them to make the Dawn Run trade route, which gives them 4d6 times 10 credits for every single turn. So because they were able to drum up 150 credits from that. So for the trading post, they managed to get 60 credits from the scenario, as well as 170 credits from their territories, which gives them 230 credits in total. With those 230 credits, they spent 180 credits for 3 Suspensors for Drin of the Blood, so that way you can fire that Landoxi Tribalist as a normal basic action. Draw the Long-Sighted, which is another one of the fighters who's got a Kroot Rifle, which is also unwieldy, so you can shoot that as a basic action, as well as your Archivist, so that way you can fire that heavy Kroot Repeater and be able to do that as a basic action. He then spent 50 credits for hiring a new recruit named Shara of the Rogue Dock, so that way they have a Rudok in this group as well. Now for the reputations, they managed to earn 1 point reputation for their territories, as well as 1 for fighting against the Killjoys for the very first time, as well as another 2 points reputation for winning the scenario, and this gives them a grand total of 5 reputation in total. Their new record now is at 1 win and 0 losses, and the new gang rating now is at 2,630 points. So that's good to do for this, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this one, you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy.